Not super sure really how to get into this topic, so I think we should just kind of dive right in. And that is what to do when a seller calls your office and threatens to shoot your employees. Reads you your address and gives you the date and time he'll be there. I've probably sent 500,000 pieces of mail for my own personal marketing efforts, and I've never gotten a response quite this violent / over the top. Now, huge shout out to the folks at Call Porter. This guy called something like 38 or 39 times in a row in the span of 20 or 25 minutes before we were able to get his phone number blocked. So super grateful, as well as apologetic to the staff that had to take those phone calls. Now, one thing, and the reason I really chose to even share this, right? It's not like it's a fun topic. I always have said that if I'm going to share the wins and the good things and the lessons, I also have to share the real side of it, which isn't always fun. And this is super rare. Like, I don't want this to discourage you from marketing, from finding deals. We have way more instances of people that like literally have sobbed and thanked us for being a part of the process of helping them get out of a property or a situation. But I would be lying if I told you that when you do marketing, you're not going to rub some people the wrong way. If you've ever seen one of my Facebook ads or one of my Instagram ads, or YouTube or anything like that, you'd be surprised some of the things that people will say or assume, or kind of some of the conclusions they'll jump to, right? They don't always assume the absolute best. One thing I always tell someone before they start marketing, like, look, you could be feeding orphans and someone on the internet will think that you're a jackass because of it. Like, you're literally out there feeding and clothing, hurting people, and someone's like, oh, well, you did it for the wrong motives, or like, right? You're going to find somebody that's not going to be happy with it. So this particular gentleman was not in like foreclosure or inheritance. This wasn't like a bank. This wasn't like a niche list or anything where it's like, wow, this guy, we really struck a nerve, right? It was a professional letter, dear Mr. So-and-so, I'd like to make you a cash offer about 123 Main Street. Please give my office a call at blank if you're interested in selling. Thanks. Talk to you soon, right? Branded, shows we're BBB accredited, address, but nothing that would have explained this guy's flare-up. He was actually just on a list of ugly properties. He was an owner-occupant, older guy. He's actually 64 years old. And initially, it was a call in, started out kind of an interesting conversation, then went to a take me off your list, which, if you haven't figured this out, when somebody calls in and won't give you a name and won't give you an address, it's kind of hard to take them off a mailing list, right? And then the calls got more and more violent, and the calls were coming in on the minute, every minute. And then he started texting in between calls, and it started out with like,
yes, I need to talk to Christopher Allen, so I'll quit calling you until midnight tonight, because I'm not going to put up with this from you anymore. Understand that part? I'm not going to put up with this from you anymore. Quit sending me letters and quit trying to steal my home. It's illegal, and I will shoot one of you. Well, it don't make any difference because you started the illegal in the first place. Illegal, great. You have your boss call me. Your boss needs to call me at this phone number. You understand that? Can you understand? You need to call your boss and tell him to call me. Huh?
And then he started texting in between calls, and it started out with like, solicitations are illegal according to the Attorney General, which is 110% false. But then went to like, the Republican Party search locate 5,000 NSA. Like, this man's like thoughts are no longer connecting or coherent, which just really showed kind of a lack of stability, which isn't what you want to see from somebody threatening to shoot you and your staff in the face. The first thing that you need to realize when you have something like this going on is that it says a lot more about the person who's having this emotional response to a piece of mail or a Facebook ad or something really benign, right? It says a lot more about them than it does about you. So the first thing you have to do is kind of distance yourself a little bit. This is where most of your like complaints about marketing or an unwanted solicitation or whatever, they're going to die right then and there, right? It's kind of like, got you taken off the list, have a nice day, and move on, right? The key though is to not take their feelings, like don't let it ruin your day, don't bring it home to your family. And that's normally where these things kind of end, right? Every 3 pieces of mail I send, one person says, do not mail me again. Some of them it's, please take me off your list, good sir. Others of them it's more graphic. A third of them are, hey, come out to my house and make me an offer. And a third of them are, I'd like you to come out and make me an offer, but I still have some questions, have somebody else follow up with me, or maybe it's a rental and they've got to check with the tenant something, right? So a lot of people that call and ask to be taken off the list, and it kind of ends just there. But what I want to talk about on this particular video is what to do if they get more violent, because I've never seen anybody talk about this. And you do have to start to look at a couple things. Is this potentially a credible threat, or is this just somebody blowing off steam, right? Somebody responds to a marketing piece and says, hey, I'm going to come kick your butt, like, or, maybe they swear more than that, but it's just kind of like a loose, okay, that's one thing. This guy literally said, see your address at blank, be there at 8 p.m. Now, that's pretty credible. Like, you're pointing out the fact that you know where we're at and what time you're planning on being there, and even referencing some of our staff by name. And it would be one thing if it was like, hey, I'm going to show up and we're going to have a conversation. Something entirely different when it's, I'm going to show up and start shooting people in the face. So when it goes from like something you can just ignore, like this guy's just being nuts, right? To, okay, this sounds like a more credible threat. We looped in law enforcement. Only time I have ever done this in my entire career as an investor, with the detailed level of which he shared where he was going to be, which weapon he was going to bring and use, where he was going to shoot, and what time he was going to be there. It didn't feel smart to us to just downplay this, knowing that the world's a crazy place and sometimes people make really bad decisions in kind of the heat of the moment. So we passed the guy's phone number over to local law enforcement, offered to send them recordings, transcriptions with him literally making death threats on a recorded line, calling people by names, who he was looking to shoot. And, I really don't know if anything will come out of it. They told us a police officer would give the guy a call, let him know that what he was doing was indeed a crime and that he would be getting arrested if he didn't stop. But it's really kind of one of those like, okay, we've acted in the best interest of our team. We can go ahead and put this down now. I would be not being honest if I said this didn't get to me a little bit. Freaked me out, right? We care about our employees, but also the address that this guy dug up is one of my rental properties that a family lives in. That like isn't our office. It's not even what was on the letter we sent him. So that did make me feel the need to speak up. Obviously would have felt horrible had something happened. Thank God nothing did. Police never even reached back out to us, which tells me that they probably were able to just diffuse it and move on. But just know you're gonna have things come up like this. And it's just going to be in your best interest to be calm, be level-headed. You know, we easily could have called this guy back, you know, oh yeah, come on, show up, tough guy. Like, first off, that's not my personality, so it's not going to happen. But that would have just further escalated the situation. You know, even the call porter staff would, you know, hey sir, if you're going to keep talking like this, I'm going to have to disconnect the phone call. Okay, sorry to hear that. Have a nice day, right? They weren't swearing back or yelling back at this guy or anything. So you always want to try to just diffuse these situations, because you know, it doesn't benefit anybody if something like this blows up. My name is Ryan Dossey. I'm a buy and hold investor. I'm best known for we bought 150 units in just 2 years, the majority of which all direct to seller off market. And as you can see, we like to share the good as well as the bad. Talk to you guys next time.